These are 20 NBA world records in 13 minutes. And first up, it's the longest game-winning buzzer beater set on December 15, 2021. In a game between the Pelicans and the Thunder, many fans witnessed something truly special. Because moments before NBA history was made, something equally as spectacular happened.
There, got to foul him. And they do. He got it. He fouled him. 1.4 to play, out of time.
But apparently, SGA's luck was contagious, because moments after this miracle happened, Devontae Graham decided to join the party.
And give Shai Gilgeous-Alexander credit as Devontae sends it. Gets it! The game winner!
Oh, wow!
Devontae Graham stuns him in Oklahoma City.
Just how you drew it up!
People say lightning doesn't strike twice, but those people couldn't be farther from the truth. That said, anyone can make a 61-foot bomb by chance, but what the 1990-1991 Phoenix Suns achieved, now that doesn't happen by chance. Against the Denver Nuggets, the Suns scored an unfathomable 50 points in the first quarter alone, but the Suns weren't finished. They had so much fun in the first quarter, they decided to top it in the second quarter. This time, scoring 57 points. Combine the two quarters together, and voila! The Suns scored 107 points in a single half. But if you thought that record was impressive, wait till you hear about the worst regular season record of all time. Or better yet, the most free throws attempted in a single game. However, first, you have to hear about Calvin Murphy. He might not be a household name yet, but that's destined to change based on his off-the-court behavior. In fact, Murphy holds the record for having the most kids in NBA history. He has 14 kids with 9 different women. As DeMarco Cousins III would say, he's a professional raw dogger. But sometimes even professionals can struggle, something Charles Barkley knows all too well. When Barkley retired, he finished his career with the lowest three-point percentage in NBA history when attempting at least 1,000 three-pointers. At a measly 26.6% from beyond the arc, you almost have a better chance of seeing Shaq make 2 consecutive free throws than Chuck hitting a 3. In fact, Barkley is so bad at shooting threes that his Inside the NBA co-host Ernie Johnson once challenged him to a three-point contest. Maybe if Chuck was a little better at shooting threes, then he would have a championship. After all, even NBA journeyman Ish Smith won a championship this year. To date, Ish Smith has suited up for an NBA record 13 different teams over his 13-year career. He's also been traded 7 times, released 6 times, and played in the G League 2 times. But through it all, Smith never gave up. He stayed committed to his hoops dream, and because of it, he's now an NBA champion. Although he can mainly thank the Joker for that. One can only imagine where the Golden State Warriors would be if it weren't for the Houston Rockets. Because back in 2018, the eventual champions found themselves 1 game away from elimination. Heading into Game 7 against the Houston Rockets, the Warriors were in win-or-go-home mode. Meanwhile, the Rockets were already booking their trip to Cancun. Despite leading 54-43 at halftime, the Houston Rockets missed 27 straight three-pointers in the second half, an NBA playoff record.
So Durant now 4 of 10 from the field. That ball was deflected. Gordon on a step-back 3. They missed 24 in a row. Tucker set his feet over to Gordon to 3. So back comes Gordon. Kicks it the other way. Ariza again is off. Ariza for 3. Cannot find the range.
All that to say, the Rockets only lost by 9 points. But do you know what's worse than losing by 9 points? Losing by 73 points. And in 2021, the Oklahoma City Thunder did just that. In a 152-79 beatdown against the Memphis Grizzlies, OKC found themselves in a hole from the get-go.
Tillman, Bane, extra pass, Melton for 3, bango! Aldama drives on Baisley, X for 3, bango!
Will only help Morant is Xavier Tillman knocks down that 3. Nice set.
All right, here's going to be your record.
But they weren't the only ones embarrassed. The Charlotte Bobcats weren't just bad for 1 game, they were bad the entire season. Despite winning their opening game of the 2011-2012 NBA season, the Bobcats only went on to win 6 more games the rest of the season. And if it wasn't already embarrassing, they finished the regular season on a 23-game losing streak. If it wasn't for a shortened season, things would have really got out of hand. Nevertheless, the Bobcats finished 7-59 on the season, solidifying it as the worst season in NBA history. But enough about the worst team ever. Let's talk about the greatest quarter ever. This past year, the Warriors caught fire against the Portland Trail Blazers. For 12 minutes straight, they could not miss.
Steph finding Klay Thompson, and he opens with a 3. He had 24 yesterday against the Clips. Klay Thompson with Jordan again. Okay. What else is new? Oh, Moody to Kuminga. How pretty was that? Keep the ball moving at 7. Poole, step around three, got it! That is not a misprint on your screen. 55 points in the first quarter is a new NBA record.
Leave it to the Warriors to score 55 points in a quarter. So inspirational. But not as inspirational as our next NBA record. Because it's not easy to hit a game-winning buzzer beater. Well, unless you're Michael Jordan, who has managed to do it not once, but 9 times. Better yet, 3 of his game winners came in the postseason, 2 of which won playoff series.
Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship, and it's their 2nd three-peat.
He looks, he gives to Jordan. Jordan to the circle, puts the shot in the air. Good! The game's over, and the Bulls have won.
But if you think this is a fluke, you're dead wrong. In his career, Jordan shot 45% on game-winning shots in the final 10 seconds of a game. Compare that with the league average of 27%. And it's clear why Air Jordan is so special. But just because MJ is special, it doesn't earn him a spot in the top 10. Because the records ahead are nothing short of spectacular. And coming in at number 10, Ben Wallace found a way to differentiate himself from everyone else in the NBA. If you thought that Shaq's 52% career free throw percentage was bad, then you won't believe how bad Ben Wallace is. Despite attempting 2,679 free throws in 17 years, Wallace only made 1,109 of them. And that's a 41.4% success rate. Even your neighbor across the street can do better than that. But you know what your neighbor can do? Play in the NBA. Yet not all NBA careers are created equally, just as Jameson Curry. See, in the 2010, the Clippers were in desperate need of players against the Celtics. So just 72 hours before the game, the Clippers signed Jameson Curry to a 10-day contract. Fast forward to game day, Curry received the go-ahead nod to play in his first NBA match. Little did Curry know, this would be his last match. He only spent 3.9 seconds on the floor.
At the end of the second quarter, Rondo had a prayer of a shot that didn't make it. Went in, but didn't make the clock. We'll see what happens here. Well, there's no doubt about that. But the Celtics.
Truth be told, he was only benched because he was too busy subscribing to the channel. But at least Curry got to play. Better yet, at least he didn't do something embarrassing like Joel Anthony. Because on January 9, 2011, Anthony played so poorly, he made history. Throughout NBA history, there's been plenty of players to play without producing any stats. It's become so common, fans even coined the phrase Club Trillion for these performances. Speaking of which, Joel Anthony is the king of his club. Against the Trailblazers, Anthony logged 29 minutes and made virtually no statistical impact. For almost 30 minutes, he ran up and down the court without scoring any points, assists, or rebounds. In fact, the only proof of him on the stat sheet was his 4 personal fouls. It was so unproductive, he might be related to Creed Bratton from The Office. But if Joel Anthony is the Office equivalent of Creed Bratton, but that means that Scott Skiles is Dwight Schrute. He may not be an all-time great like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, but it wasn't for a lack of effort. Because on December 30th, 1990, Skiles was a passing machine. In a 155-116 victory against the Denver Nuggets, Skiles could do no wrong. Every time he passed the ball, fans knew it was going in the basket. So much so, that Skiles broke the single-game record for assists with 30. But Skiles wasn't content. Along the way, he scored 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals, in a total of 44 minutes. For reference, this is the same guy who only averaged 11 points, 6.5 assists, and 2.5 rebounds in a 10-year career. If that's not a statistical anomaly, then I don't know what is. Or actually, let me take that back. Have you seen Klay Thompson? This dude was a different breed. From his 60-point 11-dribble performance to his legendary Game 6 performances, Klay is a certified bucket. However, his most impressive performance came against the Sacramento Kings. In the third quarter of a 2015 matchup, Thompson set the record for the highest scoring quarter in NBA history.
Klay Thompson. Live. 7 of 10 on threes. 32 in the game. Outstanding. Curry driving. Again. And 37 in a quarter.
Let that sink in for a second. 37 points in 12 minutes. That's insanity. But Nikola Jokic looked insanity in the eyes and came out on top. Coming off a loss in Game 2 of this year's NBA Finals, the Nuggets were fired up to come back strong against the Heat. But no one was more fired up than the Joker, who was going to do everything in his power to bounce back in Game 3. Although, he didn't just bounce back, he put together one of the greatest postseason performances ever.
After a shot so far, 7 of the 13 field goal attempts. Jokic just inside the foul line. Jokic calling for the ball against Kevin Love. Spins, flips it up and in against Duncan Robinson. Deflected. Murray. Jokic left open. Now Adebayo comes out. Jokic throws it up, and Gordon at 18 points. Jokic fakes, drives, scoop layup is good.
In a 109-94 victory, Jokic made history with 32 points, 21 rebounds, and 10 assists, becoming the first player in finals history with a 30, 20, and 21 game. However, up next, it's a different kind of record, because there are some records players brag about, and then there's Steve Nash records, the most high fives in a single season. See, it's no secret that Nash is a great teammate, but perhaps the most impressive part of his game isn't flashing passes or leading his team's fast-paced offense. It's his team spirit. During the 2009-2010 NBA season, the Phoenix Suns had an internal count of the number of high fives Steve Nash gave during an average game, and the total came out to 239 high fives. And if you take that number and multiply it across an 82-game season, you get an absurd 19,598 high fives, which brings us to the final three records. And it's only fitting that the number 3 record is the longest three-pointer in NBA history. I'll let Baron Davis do the rest.
Mashburn, who could run the baseline. Davis, that'll be counted on a shot attempt. Oh, it's gotta go. He'll count it. It's good. Baron Davis has just voted in from 92 feet away.
For reference, that shot was 89 feet long. That's the same length as 18 queen-size mattresses, 1.5 bowling lanes, and a blue whale. Speaking of which, you just shouldn't mess with Rasheed Wallace, because Wallace owns 1 but not 2 records. After all, Wallace was known as one of the more prominent hotheads, saying something about nearly every call that went against him. However, in 2000-2001, he was on a whole different level. That season, he was called for an insane 41 technicals, leading to 29 ejections. Rasheed Wallace was so intimidating that he once got ejected for just staring at a referee the wrong way.
Timeout LA.
Whack, get out. But he didn't say nothing. Get away from me, Steve. Get away from me, Steve. He didn't say a word. Technical foul, Wallace, he's gone. No, not right. I asked him 3 times to stop staring at me to try to intimidate me. I'm done. He's gone.
Safe to say, someone could just use some anger management classes. But enough about anger management, we still got 1 record remaining, and it belongs to the one and only Dwight Howard. For some, he's known as Superman from Soulja Boy's viral hit, Crank That. But it's hard to call him Superman when he's at the stripe. That's his kryptonite. And in 2012, he was such a liability that he shot a record 39 free throws in a single game. Sadly, Howard faltered under the spotlight, making a measly 21 of 39 free throws for the Orlando Magic. But at least this one was a one-time occurrence. Wrong. Just a year later, he tied the previous record of 39 free throws. Only this time, he wasn't playing on the Orlando Magic. He was playing against them. That said, he was ready this time around, making 25 of 39 free throws. Just like you should also prepare yourself to watch another one of my videos. So what you waiting for? Click on the video.